Welcome to NFL Daily. I am your host, Harrison Graham, back with the latest NFL rumors and news. Less than 10 days away from the draft, so let's jump right in here. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. Is he holding out? Well, there's a lot to dive into here. Here's the report from PFT Mike Florio saying that Dak is not going to report for the virtual voluntary offseason workouts with the Cowboys. Obviously, a lot of that is classroom work, individual workouts, things of that nature. Technically, it's not holding out of anything because he has not signed his franchise tag tender, which means technically he's not under contract. So, from a technical standpoint, it is not a holdout. But obviously, it's not ideal if Dak Prescott stops skipping some of team activities with the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, past 4 year career stats, he's only been in the NFL for 4 years. Breakout season last year, almost 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. He's looking for a new deal. For some reason, the Cowboys and Dak for the past year and a half have not been able to come to an agreement on a long-term extension, which is why the Cowboys had to tag him. Will Dak play under the tag or a new deal in 2020? Go ahead and weigh in down below. Type T for tag, type D for new deal. I still think a deal gets done, but not a lot of movement as we sit right now, so we will see what happens. It's getting closer to 50-50 at this point, but type T for tag or type D for new deal. Here was a quote from Stephen Jones responding to this report on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas today, saying, I'm not necessarily aware of that. He certainly was sent an iPad, and I know he certainly can participate. For every player, it's voluntary in terms of their participation in the virtual meetings. I'm not aware and haven't been made aware of what degree Dak Prescott's participation level would be. Again, that was Stephen Jones. So we will see when the virtual offseason, team stuff starts on April 20th, the Dallas Cowboys. Look at the depth chart. You don't want Cooper Rush, once on-field activities actually return to be taking the number one team snaps. That is not what you're looking for when it comes to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Now, there's no official word if Dak would hold out of training camp or anything like that, but doesn't get a new deal, it would not surprise me. These are some of the notes from this virtual voluntary period with these teams. It starts on April 20th. If you are a team with a new head coach, like the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, April 27th for the other NFL teams. Could last up to 3 weeks. It'll all be wrapped up by May 15th. Individual workouts, through Zoom conferences. These teams' coaches can check how these players are from a fitness standpoint. There will be classroom instruction, which basically means film study and things of that nature. No on-field workouts will happen unless all 32 team facilities are cleared to reopen. Obviously, with the Big C going on right now, that is very, very unlikely to happen in the next couple of weeks because you got to remember all 50 states, or just, a lot of the 50 states are in play for the 32 NFL teams. Guys, we did it last week. We're going to do it again this week. Send in your best trade ideas. If we get enough good ones, we'll do a video on Thursday. Had a bunch last week. Want to get a bunch this week, so go ahead and spam the comment section with your best trade ideas. I will give my analysis on them and give my input on whether or not I think they could actually happen. So send in your best trade proposals, and I will do a video on Thursday. Talk about Snacks Harrison. He kind of ripped Detroit, not the city, the organization, as he is obviously now a free agent. He was traded from the Giants to the Lions back during the 2018 season. Finished that season fine, but last year did not play well. He talked about the scheme challenges in Detroit, just didn't like the vibe of the organization. Didn't say anything bad about Matt Patricia, said he respects the coach, but all in all, just did not enjoy being there. He is a free agent now. He can be signed by any team in the NFL, but he will not be returning to the Detroit Lions, to say the least, based on his comments in a recent interview. Here was a larger quote from Snacks Harrison saying, I didn't want to go to Detroit because of some things that I had heard from some guys in the past and some guys who were there. So when I got the call, that's where I was traded. I didn't answer the phone for a couple of hours. Bob Quinn, the Lions GM, was calling me, and I didn't pick up the phone because I was trying to figure out a way to get out of it. So he was not thrilled when the trade happened, hasn't been thrilled since he's been in Detroit the last year and a half. Now he is available for any team to sign. Not the first Lions player to rip the organization. Darius Slay on the way out when he got traded to the Eagles did not made it clear he did not enjoy his time there, at least in recent memory. As far as Snacks goes, look, he wasn't very good last year. It was the worst year of his career since his rookie season, but I still think he's a solid interior defensive lineman, and a team could probably get him for pretty cheap. So we will see what happens. He's one of many free agents still left out there. Who do you guys think is the best free agent still available? A lot of good ones. Davion Clowney is still out there. Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, lots of names out there. Go ahead and comment down below. Who is the best free agent left that is still available for any team to sign? I think it's Davion Clowney still. That's who I would go with, but there are certainly some other worthy candidates. All right, NFL fans, we have a lot of draft hats available for almost every single team. Tons of different styles. We got the flat bills, the curved bills, the snapbacks, all kinds of different draft hats this year for your favorite team. Go to this link, chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. That's chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. I'll put that link in the comments and in the description. They're actually good this year. In the past, they have not been very good, but this year, I like the styles a lot. You should take advantage today while you can purchase them. Let's go to Zack Baun as we talk about the NFL draft here. It looks like he had a diluted urine sample at the NFL Combine. His sample was flagged. He claims that he drank too much water to try and put on more weight for the weigh-in at the NFL Combine, which wouldn't be that out of the realm of possibility. A lot of players do that to try and, seem heavier than they actually are. Kyler Murray did it last year, for example, so he could come in over 200 pounds. Zack Baun is kind of an undersized edge rusher, so it would make some sense for him to drink extra water to try and weigh in at a heavier weight. But the bottom line is it's not that big of a deal with the new CBA rules loosening up on these drug tests. Here was Adam Schefter's tweet earlier today on it, saying, here's an interesting twist regarding Zack Baun testing positive for a diluted sample at the Combine. Under the NFL's new CBA, it will not count as a strike against him, whereas it would have under the NFL's old CBA. Therefore, teams do not believe it will impact his draft status much. And that's the bottom line. With the new CBA, with them loosening up on, on weed and the drug stuff, not that big of a deal for Zack Baun. I think he's fine. I still think he's a fringe first-round target. I don't think he'll tank like players have in the past based on failed drug tests. This is not a Randy Gregory situation in Dallas where he goes from a top 10 pick to late in the second round. Very productive player, almost 20 tackles for loss, 12.5 sacks, a couple of forced fumbles, good tackler as well. So I think he can be an off-ball linebacker / pass rusher for an NFL team. I do think he fits better in a 3-4 scheme in the NFL. Speaking of the NFL, if you're excited for the draft, type me down in the comment section. I'm typing me 50 times because I can't wait. I'm so tired of not having live sports, so at least the NFL draft will be there to entertain us. And we're going to entertain you here on Chat Sports. So type me if you're excited about the NFL draft, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell, because we're going to be live during the entire 2020 NFL draft. Probably be doing it from home, who knows, but we will be live throughout the entire draft. We were the number one watched draft coverage last year on all digital platforms. Beat ESPN, beat NFL Network, Bleacher Report, you name it. Chat Sports had the most views on the internet. So go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well so you know when we always go live, like we will during the NFL draft. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. That's the link if you want to pass that along to a friend. More on the NFL draft. Gil Brandt had some very complimentary comments when it comes to Joe Burrow, the expected number one pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. He said, basically, Joe Burrow reminds you of Peyton Manning, which is like, oh, wow, that's lofty praise for a kid who hasn't played in the NFL yet. Praised his physical traits, his leadership. That's a little pressure for the kid that's really only played one full college football season. I guess two, but one full and a comfortable offense. But here was a bigger quote from Gil Brandt saying, Burrow reminds you of Peyton Manning. He's faster than Manning, but has his arm strength is equal. It's good, but not great. Bengals would love for Burrow to be 90% of what Manning was in the NFL. A quarterback of that caliber would completely transform the organization and the city. He's very smart and aware. Burrow has enough ability to start and take a team to the playoffs. Note that he had completed over 66% of his passes under pressure. He's also said to have good work habits. Look, we all know Joe Burrow has a lot of good traits about him. Very accurate, good enough arm. He reads defense as well. Bottom line is we don't know how he's going to play until he joins the Bengals. We know he was incredibly productive at LSU last year, had maybe the best season ever for a college football quarterback. I'm excited to watch him. I know you guys are as well. I'm going to set the over-under at 6.5 wins for the Bengals with Joe Burrow. What do you guys think? Over or under 6.5 wins next season, assuming they draft him and he plays all 16 games? I think that's about right. It's a tough division. They've got some pieces there. I actually like some of the skill talent on offense, especially if A.J. Green can get healthy. So if they could win 6-7 games, I think that's a pretty good number. So type O for over 6.5 wins. Type U for under 6.5 wins for the Bengals if they draft Joe Burrow. His numbers last year, just insane. 76%, almost 6,000 yards, 60 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. We've never seen production at that level. Did he have NFL receivers on his offense? Absolutely. Did he have an NFL tight end in Thaddeus Moss? Yeah, he did. Was his offensive line great? Yep, it was. But you know what? A lot of quarterbacks have played with situations similar to that. If Tua played the entire season, he wouldn't have put up numbers that big. They would have been huge, but they would not have been that big. And he's got 4 first-round picks at receiver at Alabama. The season Joe Burrow had is incredible. If Cincinnati builds the offense around him, he should have success at the next level. We'll see if he can have a Peyton Manning-like career. That would be something else.